it's Kris.
And I'm Wyatt Elliott from Notebook Entertainment.
And you're watching Pop Culture News. Alright, so we've got some fun and not so fun news today. We'll start with Hulu has released the first few episode titles for their reboot of Futurama. I'm very excited for this. The way Futurama ended, it was a perfect ending, and it looped all the way back to the beginning. So they really don't need to reboot, really, because like they could just, I mean, we all know the characters.
I think people just want more, that's all.
Yeah. So here's the episode titles. The Impossible Stream, Rage Against the Vaccine.
Oh boy.
Zap gets canceled, so Zap Brannigan's back.
I mean, that's a long time coming.
That should have happened a long time ago.
How the heck did that get canceled?
The Prince and the Product, Related to Items You've Viewed, Children of a Lesser Bog, which maybe that's, remember Kip and Amy had babies, the tadpoles or whatever?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a callback to that.
Might be.
That'd be cool. How the West was 1010001.
Cowboy, robot cowboy
Right.
guys.
I know what you did last Xmas, so maybe Santa, the robot Santa's back.
Yes, I'm sure.
With John Goodman.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Parasites Regained, which could be, didn't he have Parasites Lost was the title with Fry.
Is that the head guys?
I think so.
I think so too.
Whatever I know there was a title called like Parasites Lost, because I thought it was a hilarious title.
That's a good title, yeah.
So we've got Parasites Regained, so that's probably a callback to that.
Yeah.
And then All the Way Down. So those are the first titles that we know of. That's all we've got so far.
Yeah.
And a lot of speculation like we just kind of did with the titles. So this is set to air sometime in 2023. We will definitely keep you updated as more comes out about it.
For sure.
'Cause I love Futurama. All right, so let's move on to another streaming service. Peacock has canceled one of its leading shows after only 2 seasons, Rutherford Falls.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean to watch that.
It's starring Ed Helms, and it's created by Michael Schur and Sierra Teller Ornelas.
I heard really good things about it.
Me too.
You know?
I was intending to watch it. I have to get through a bunch of other shit first, but that was on my list.
Yeah.
But Ornelas has said that she, Michael Schur, and Ed Helms are attempting to shop the series to another network or streaming service. And I just want to say, like, here's the thing about Michael Schur's shows, is they need room to grow.
Yes.
They're never good off the front. Look, I adore The Office. Adore it. But it did not pick up steam until first episode of season 2.
Yeah.
The first season, copying exactly what the UK Office did, it didn't really work.
Yeah.
And once they found their voice in the Dundies episode, like that's where it took off. With Parks and Rec, it did not. Parks and Rec is not good until literally like the last 2 episodes of season 2 when Chris Traeger and Ben Wyatt come to town.
Yeah.
That's when they find themselves, and then Parks and Rec is amazing.
It takes off and doesn't ever come down after that.
And same with Good Place. They say the second season again is where it really builds its steam and really finds itself.
And I think I'm on 3rd season, and I have noticed the characters found their voices better in the 2nd season. The 1st season I like the plot better, but you know, you run out of that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't stretch. It's not a soap opera.
Yeah, you gotta like the people.
Right.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like, to cancel his show after 2 seasons, what are we missing out on? You know, like what comedy genius are we missing out on? Because he just is finding his voice, and that's the other thing is season 2 has like 100% or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Like it's really high. So Sierra Teller Ornelas, she has a quote here. It's been a true joy to make these 2 seasons of Rutherford Falls. Mike Schur, Ed Helms, and I set out to make something new, real, and smart, but also dumb, that made you cry and think, but also laugh when Regan get kicked in the face or Nathan was stuffed into a coffin. Borrowing a line from Terry Thomas, played by the ridiculously talented Michael Grey Eyes, before our show, Native representation was, for the most part, a hate crime, which is why it's been an honor to introduce the best of Indian country to the masses. We remain overwhelmed by the critical response, garnering a 100% Rotten Tomatoes score in our 2nd season, and while we're sad that our time at Peacock has come to an end, we are immensely grateful to them for picking us up and showcasing the comedy talents of legends Ted Helms, and breakout stars like Jana Schmieding, Jessie Leigh, Dana Wilson, Dallas Goldtooth, and many others. We love these characters, the world we created, and the impact it has had, and we'll be exploring other platforms where, hopefully, the folks of Rutherford Falls can call home.
I'm going to check it out. I suggest you guys check it out,
Yeah, check out Rutherford Falls. Show support online. Go because on Twitter, I see Paul F. Tompkins has tweeted about the season ending. Or the show ending. So go on Twitter and let these creators and cast and crew know that you did like it, or you know that you're supporting them, searching for a new home for it.
Agreed.
All right, so let's move on. We've got SNL is going through some big cast changes before the new season. So we already knew Kate McKinnon, Pete Davidson, Aidy Bryant, and Kyle Mooney left.
I didn't know about Kyle Mooney. I just found that out just right now.
Kyle Mooney was part of the original. Yeah,
I love Kyle Mooney.
So now it's just been announced that Alex Moffat, Melissa Villaseñor, and Aristotle Athari are also leaving. And that, I think the biggest hit out of those three, like I love Melissa Villaseñor, I do. Yeah. But Alex Moffat
is huge. That's huge.
A big loss. Like that's up there with Kate McKinnon and Aidy Bryant loss and Kyle Mooney loss. Yeah,
because I love it when he plays
the Trump brothers.
You know, like.
And Anderson Cooper, I like Alex Moffat a lot, and so also longtime producer and head of the talent department, Lindsay Shookus, she's leaving after 20 years as well. So they got behind the scenes shakeups as well.
Well, I hope that's just retirement.
Yeah, I'm assuming it is. I haven't seen anything bad. I haven't seen any kind of bad press about any of these people leaving. So,
but I think when you're a cast of a show, if your contract is up and you see a lot of other people leaving, you generally want to probably get out.
You're like,
you know?
Okay.
Not everybody can pull a Kenan Thompson.
Right. So Lorne Michaels has said he was expecting this year to be, quote, a year of change for the show, and so. We'll see. But last season was one of the biggest casts ever as well. Like, they had like 21 people or something.
They did have a lot of people,
so, I mean, they kind of did need to cut back a little bit. But
agreed.
it's a lot of big names leaving all at once.
Have they announced any new players yet?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
So we'll keep you updated on that. They'll be premiering soon because it's already September. So, yep, we'll keep you updated. I know they put out, on Twitter, SNL's Twitter, they put out who would you like to see host, and everybody was responding with Carol Burnett. Because I went on Twitter, I was like, why is Carol Burnett trending? And I clicked on it, and it was because so many people wanted her to host SNL because Betty White did it.
Yeah,
and they're like, get her now. Like,
well, yeah, she was on Better Call Saul the last few episodes, and she did great.
She did great. We saw her live. She came to Chicago a couple years ago, and it was amazing.
It was amazing, and it was so funny when she first appeared on Saul. I recognized her, but my mind didn't want to admit it was Carol Burnett. I'm like, that woman looks like Carol Burnett. Oh, she kind of sounds like her too. What?
Oh, it is.
Oh. What a nice surprise that was.
So please, SNL, I would so love to see Carol Burnett host. I can't believe she hasn't already.
No, I can't believe she hasn't either.
It's insane to me. All right, so let's move on to Broadway news, guys. I'm excited to talk about this. Okay, so this is all about Lea Michele.
Oh boy.
To enjoy this story, you must be these things. You must be a fan of Glee, or at least know that it has a relevance in pop culture.
I'm the second half.
You need to be a fan of Broadway drama, or theater drama, like former theater kid drama. And you have to be an extremely online person who knows how the internet jokes. So if you are those things, you will enjoy this as much as I do. So, in 2020, Samantha Ware, who is an actress that was in season 6 of Glee, she came out because Lea Michele came out in support of Black Lives Matter or something. She made some stupid post, and Samantha Ware came out and was like, "Oh, really? Then tell me why you threatened to shit in my wig and performed all these microaggressions against me and like all this stuff and being racist piece of shit." And then turns out, so there was a transgender actress on the show. Lea Michele was very transphobic to that person. And then all of the other, Heather Morris came out, who played Brittany, and she's like, yeah, I totally back up Samantha, like, Lea Michele's a horrible person. Like, all of the Glee people were coming out and being like, yeah, she sucks. Lea Michele sucks. Like, if you think Rachel Berry sucks, it's because she's the same person. Like, Rachel Berry and Lea Michele are the same people. That's why she was so good at that part.
It's true a lot of times.
So, yeah, a lot of other stories started coming out from people who were background in the cast who said that she was just completely a bitch to them. Like, they didn't exist because they're just background play, you know, stuff like that. Just horrible stories. But the racism and homophobia was, like, top of the list. So
shows.
All of these accusations started coming out, and Lea Michele, back in 2020, wound up losing. She had a sponsorship with HelloFresh. And she wound up losing that sponsorship. She was also pregnant at the time, and so a lot of people were like, "Oh, don't pick on her. She's pregnant." And everyone's like, "She's a bitch." Like,
bad people get pregnant all the time.
Like, that baby's gonna have a bitch for a mother.
Well.
So, I mean, I was with that. I was like, you know, pregnancy is hard. You don't know, like, what could push someone to have a miscarriage or whatever. So, but once she gave birth, like, everyone. So, there's this old interview with Naya Rivera, rest in peace, who she said something she said in this interview gave light to the Lea Michele can't read rumors, which is my favorite internet conspiracy, like, ever. As soon as Glee ended, everyone's like, okay, can we all agree she's a terrible person? And we're like, yeah. And then all these stories came out and we're like, oh, good, she really is a terrible person. And so the Lea Michele can't read memes and jokes and everything started picking up steam because that's how the internet decided they were going to mess with this racist, homophobic person who has never apologized for anything, and said that they were, Lea Michele basically came out with a comment that says, "I'm sorry for who I hurt," which is, you know, one of those bullshit apologies. Like, I'm not sorry for what I did, I'm just sorry you got hurt by it. Right, and that she was going to take time and reflect and, you know, the regular Notes app bullshit apology.
Sure.
So, that's all the background that you need for that. So, according to Funny Girl producers, which, if you didn't know, Funny Girl was revived on Broadway, and Beanie Feldstein got the role. And Beanie Feldstein, I saw her do an interview on, I think it was Seth Meyers, where she was talking about this is like her dream role. Like, she had her 4th or 5th birthday party. She had a Funny Girl themed birthday party.
Wow.
So this was a dream role for her. Well, everyone also knows that this was like the dream role for Lea Michele. So when Beanie Feldstein was announced, like, the whole internet celebrated and, like, was throwing it in Lea Michele's face that she didn't get this part. Here's the thing, though. According to Funny Girl producers, Beanie Feldstein was always their second choice. They wanted Lea Michele. But then all of that controversy came out and they couldn't cast her. I don't know if they feel enough time has passed and they can do it now, but the fact that it's come out and they said that they wanted Lea from the beginning makes me wonder if all the news that they've been putting out about Beanie Feldstein not being great in the role are true, or if it's just they're putting it out there so that they had a reason to recast.
So they
because I don't live in New York. I didn't go to Broadway. I haven't seen Beanie Feldstein in this role with my own eyes, so I don't know how she is in it. But rumors were going out from Broadway and everything that she's not good in the role, that she's not fitting in, all this stuff. A lot of people were like, oh, is it because Fanny Brice, this was a role made popular by Barbra Streisand.
Right.
A very thin, very pretty woman. Beanie Feldstein is a plus-size actress. And so a lot of people were wondering if a lot of the criticism maybe came from a plus-size person being put in a starring role. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know? Now people are wondering, was all the bad press really because they wanted to get Lea Michele in the role? So this whole show has, you know, this revival has a whole shadow over it.
So they fired Bernie?
Beanie,
sorry.
yeah, Lea Michele has taken over the role. I think her first performances are this week.
Oh, wow.
So they've even announced that this is also giving credence to the maybe they wanted Beanie out and Lea in, is they've also announced they're adding a new song now that Lea Michele has become Fanny Brice.
Oh, wow.
Lea Michele wasn't even, I mean, she's talented. Don't get me wrong. Lea Michele is a very talented singer. She was not even the most talented person on Glee, though. I'm sorry. Amber Riley and Naya Rivera were far more talented, in my opinion, than Lea Michele was. Sorry, not sorry. So anyway, it's clear that the producers are trying to rehabilitate her image because they've had her, you know, they've been releasing photos. Look at behind the scenes dance practice, blah, blah. And everyone always replies with like, well, she has to dance because she can't read. You know, like, it's hilarious, you guys.
There's a lot on the line for a Broadway show.
Right. But they finally got her an interview. She was interviewed by the New York Times, probably to try and rehab her image. Here's the problem is Lea Michele cannot be anything other than fucking Lea Michele. So, when it came to the rumors of bullying, racism, and homophobia, in this interview, Lea said, quote, I have an edge to me. I work really hard. I leave no room for mistakes. That level of perfectionism or that pressure of perfectionism left me with kind of a blind spot. Okay, like, girl, no. Perfectionism doesn't make you racist, and it doesn't make you homophobic, and it really shouldn't make you a bitch either. Like, if you're a perfectionist, that's cool, but
I've heard that excuse used in other
of course, it's always an excuse.
By actors before. I'm a perfectionist.
It's also the same,
you know?
I was drunk. I've been drunk many times. Blackout drunk. Like, I don't immediately become a racist, homophobic piece of shit.
Well, it's the same thing with, you know, I didn't get along with her because I didn't get enough time to do my acting method or whatever. Yeah. There's always an excuse for why your art,
doesn't mesh with
doesn't mesh with other artists.
But this excuse is bullshit. And she doesn't even address the racism and homophobia.
And that's the problem, is she's blaming it on, well, I'm a professional. And they're not. And that's...
Exactly. So after, she says in the interview, she says that after her losing her HelloFresh gig, she did some reflecting. So it was only after she lost work that she did some reflecting. Well, that's always
money talks.
So here's her quote on that. I really understand the importance and value now of being a leader. It means not only going and doing a good job when the camera's rolling, but also when it's not. And that wasn't always the most important thing for me. Cool, thanks for admitting you suck.
Yeah,
it doesn't say anything about how you intend to change your behavior at all. It's just like, I was perfect and I'm going to keep being perfect, but I'm going to be more perfect because now I understand this.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
No, that sounds like a PR person wrote that.
So, more than because she seems to not care at all about the accusations made by her coworkers. And I'm not talking about just Glee, because when the Glee news broke, because she's been working since she was a child. She was a Broadway baby. And people from other shows she's been in, everybody came out with stories from when she was back as a child that she's always been this way. Mm-hmm. So she has no care what any of those stories are. What she cares about is this internet rumor that she can't read. So instead of being cool and leaning into it or something to make it stop, she's all offended. And okay, guys, get this. This is her quote. I went to Glee every single day. I knew my lines every single day. Then there's a rumor online that I can't read or write. It's sad. It really is. I think often if I were a man, a lot of this wouldn't be the case. Oh. Number one, girl, you didn't actually answer the question of whether or not you can read. No one's questioning whether or not you knew your lines. They're questioning how you knew your lines. Okay? You could have just said, I can read, but you didn't. Why? Why did you not just say, bitch, I can read?
All you had to do was
all you had to do.
Pull out something and read it. That's all you had to do.
Second, this is not a feminist issue at all. Like, you were a bitch to your co-stars and the internet decided that they were gonna bully you. It would have been the same if you were a man. Like, it doesn't matter. It's the same. There's an internet rumor right now that Harry Styles is bald and wears wigs. Like, are you kidding me, Lea Michele? This is not a feminist issue. You are not getting hate because you are a woman. You are getting hate because you are a shitty person.
Yeah, and the internet's gonna internet, and the internet's gonna start things, and some things are gonna take off, and other things are not. When you're not liked, things are going to take off more often, and people are going to be more willing to believe things.
Right. Part of me, because she won't just come out and say I can read, part of me is starting to believe she can't read.
She might not read well, you know. I believe she can read.
I don't know.
You know, but who knows? Maybe she's one. I've known people in real life where they can't read well. And so maybe that's what it is, and now it's blown up into this thing where she can't read.
I don't know. Or all she had to do was read on camera a random page from a book.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you had to do. do. Or just be cool and be like I saw someone tweet out, and I think I saved the tweet to display behind us, but someone tweeted out, they're like, if she wanted to end it, all she had to do was lean into it, and anytime someone makes a mean comment, just reply with, my assistant read this to me, and you're not nice.
Yes.
Like, that's all you had to do was lean into the joke, and then you would have been a cooler person.
Yeah.
The internet would have been like, oh cool, she jokes. Instead, now they're doubling down on you can't read.
That's true. Yeah, if she would have just replied to it, I'd be offended if I could read this. For a long time, I had this running gag with my friends that I couldn't read or write. And clearly everybody knew, as a writer, that I could read and write. But that was always my gag. When anybody asked me if I'd read something or seen something, I would make the joke, well, I can't read or whatever. And I don't remember the context of it, but I kept that going for years. And so, that's what she should do.
Yeah, that's what she should do, but she's not cool. She's not a cool person.
No,
she's Lea Michele. She's uptight, and she's a bitch. Like,
that's why
that's the problem.
That's why they're picking on you.
That's why you're picking on you.
Because you're not a good person, and you don't take the jokes well. I'll tease somebody way more if they have a funnier reaction or they get mad.
Yep.
Versus if they play along with it.
Yeah, then it's old. Then it's not fun.
Then it's not fun.
All right, let's move on to some not fun news. So, all right, we'll start with a TV show in Australia has decided to air that Kevin Federline interview that the internet successfully bullied American TV into not showing. In the interview, apparently, they bring up Britney's kids and how both the kids don't want to see her, and they're uncomfortable, and they don't like what she's doing now that she's free and all this stuff. So Britney has to me, the kids, okay, so here's the thing. The kids have grown up with Kevin Federline because of the conservatorship. He has not had a real job in ever.
Right, yeah.
And the kids also have been around Jamie Spears, her father. Now remember, Kevin Federline went to court for his kids to get a restraining order for Jamie because the kids didn't like Jamie. But now all of a sudden Kevin and Jamie are BFFs and everything's cool now. It's because your gravy train is ending, Kevin. We know. We know. So what I think the problem is here is that these kids have been indoctrinated against their mother. They don't realize that everything they have in life is because of her. Because their father sure as hell isn't earning it. Their nice home, their clothes, everything they have is because she went and worked her ass off and because they used those kids against her. Remember, she agreed to this conservatorship because they were threatening her kids. She agreed to everything in the conservatorship that went forward because their go-to threat was always, well, we'll just cut off, you can't see the boys anymore. Right. So this whole time that she has been under this conservatorship, she has been doing everything in order to keep her rights to these boys. And for these boys to come out, it's just, they're minors, so I'm not going to make, comment.
Well, it's not, the way I see it is I don't think it's their fault. I
hope once they turn 18, they get out in the world and they see outside reporting and realize that they've been,
They'll come around in due time, but I'm telling you, when you grow up with a parent who is constantly putting down the other parent, and especially if you don't get to see that other parent, then yeah, you are going to be blinded by that. Most kids are going to, unless they just really hated their dad, which, doesn't
why
sound
would they?
The
and
case.
her quote, her quote tells you why they don't hate them.
Right,
he's fun. He lets them do whatever the fuck they want.
I was just gonna say he's probably a fun dad in the meaning that do whatever you want, be back, why whatever. Right. You know what I mean? So yeah, they probably have a very and he's been poisoning their minds. Clearly, I'm sure he tells them about how crazy she was and she can't handle her own self because if you were with her, then blah 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 blah. So
and her boys, they have a problem with her showing her body on Instagram, but they didn't have a problem while she was earning all the money for their upbringing showing her body on stage.
Well,
okay.
First of all, if you're 16 or 17 years old,
I get it. You're embarrassed by your parents.
Anyways.
Either way.
They don't understand that she is expressing herself and her freedom that she just now got. She wasn't able to do this.
Exactly.
So I understand that. It's like anybody who is in a, I don't want to say conservatorship, but in a repressive type of atmosphere, when you get out of that, you're going to go the opposite extreme a little bit. You're going to be like, oh my God, let's move around, let's dance. She got a song out now that's #1 everywhere with Elton John. Like, she never would have done that otherwise because she wasn't performing anymore. So she's doing what she wants to do now, and the kids are too young to understand that.
Yep. And that's why I'm not going to speak bad on the minors. No. I am going to speak bad on Kevin. I believe it's his fault that the boys think the way they do.
100%.
So Brittany has actually responded, but she responded to her oldest son specifically. We'll link to it, but my favorite quote out of it is the one where she seems like she's most standing up for herself. Like, the whole statement is her kind of standing up for herself. But this quote in particular, I think, really encapsulates everything we just said. So here's what she said. I helped your father, who hasn't had a job in 15 years. I assume it is easier for you guys not to have someone check on you to make sure you're doing your homework. I'm sure the standards of your dad smoking weed every day benefits your daily life at 15 and 16 to partake in a very cool generation. Roll eye emoji. I completely understand your need to live with your father, as I had to play the perfect role for 15 years for absolutely nothing. I'm so happy I was able to carry 4 tours, Judge X Factor, and way more. I did that for you.
I forgot she did the X Factor.
I know.
Yeah, she's right.
She had to be perfect. There's video of where someone in the audience, she was at one of her shows and she smelled marijuana coming from the audience and she walked off stage because she was so scared that they were going to take her kids away from her. And, she's probably right. Kevin Federline's sitting at home smoking weed every day. I'm not against smoking weed. Okay, clearly.
Right, clearly. But that's not the issue.
But I don't have kids.
The issue... Exactly. The issue is that Brittany is 100% right. She knows this guy. She knows he hasn't changed any. He still doesn't have a job. He's relying completely on her. She knows how he spends his time and passes his time. He's not a creative guy. He's not smart. He's not... Talented. I'm sure his rap game is, but so she knows him. She said exactly what we just said. She proved us right. That's no one's going to know him better than her because his parents aren't even going to know him like she knows him. Nope. She knows what a POS he is. And smoking weed every day does not make you a POS.
Nope.
It's the fact that
he gets to do that while she had to run away from just the smell of weed smoke. Otherwise, she would lose her boys. Right. Meanwhile, the boys are probably sitting across the couch from him while he's smoking weed at home. That's the problem.
It's a problem when you're not functional anymore and your kids are running rampant, which she knows and she called him out on.
They're not doing their homework.
Yep, she knows it.
All right, so let's move on to an even less fun news story, but we have to cover it because it is in the news and it is a very big story. Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears have been accused of child grooming and predation and pretty much pedophilia. There's a woman, Jane Doe, who is now 22. She is suing on behalf of herself and her brother, who is still a minor. They have claims that both Haddish and Spears recruited them to perform inappropriate acts on camera. I'm not going to detail the accusations here because it's not for us to talk about. I don't want our channel to get in trouble or anything. We will link to an article that lists all of the specific accusations that are being made, so you can see it. They are not good. One of the skits listed is called. The skit was called "Through the Eyes of a Pedophile."
Oh, Jesus.
Aries Spears plays a pedophile who's preying on kids, and I think there was also a hot tub scene where the boy or someone is in the hot tub and he climbs in the hot tub with the boy.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking Family Guy, old man.
Right, we're not talking Herbert.
We're not talking Herbert stuff here. We're talking
creepy.
Well, one is live action, and the minute you go live action, it's different.
I don't like Herbert either, honestly. I think if Family Guy had one low point, it's the pedophilia jokes.
Yeah, and sometimes they make you laugh out of shock.
Right, it's that shock, what the fuck am I watching?
Don't get me wrong, I grew up with that. I do like that kind of sense of humor to a degree. But I do step away from it when it comes to children.
I do think Herbert is a character Family Guy maybe should retire. But...
Yeah, they should. And they don't have to kill him or anything. Just make him stop using him.
Stop using him.
Yeah. Like the monkey in the closet. They eventually okay, we ran this to death.
Right.
Let's just move on.
They let the monkey move out.
Yeah.
But this is serious, and this is also bringing a lot of people back to the attention for the story we had last week, which we released as a little news brief, where Ari Spears came out and basically fat-shamed Lizzo while being a piece of shit, fat-ass himself.
I hated that interview, watching that, him just...
How are you out of breath, sweating, just sitting there talking, dude? And you're talking about Lizzo? Lizzo's in shape. She twerks, dances, and plays an instrument. Fuck off.
So this proves my theory that a lot of times people in the industry who have problems with other people in the industry is usually because they're a problem in the industry.
And I guess the mother has said that she's been saying for a couple of years now that these were inappropriate skits, that she didn't like that her kids were in them and all this stuff, and nobody was giving it any attention.
Why didn't she?
Now there's a lawsuit, it's getting attention. And I think what I read was, and I'm, again, not 100 on this, but I think what I read was that she trusted Tiffany, and so Tiffany was like their on-set guardian or whatever.
And okay.
So the mom wasn't there.
And if that's the case... then I would think she should have, maybe she did, but address it once the skit came out and been like, and one,
I think she did.
As a parent,
I believe she did. I don't know who these kids are because they're protecting their identities. Probably black kids.
Sure.
They don't get the attention. This mother could have been screaming at the top of her lungs that this was happening to her children, and mainstream media would have ignored it. Because that's what they do with people of color.
Yeah.
And women to an extent. White women obviously get more attention. But
no, you're right.
You can't say that, until we know the full story, which we don't, we can't say that the mother aired here, because the mother did come out and say, hey, this is happening, I don't like this has happened to my kids. Just because we didn't hear it doesn't mean that others in the industry or somewhere didn't hear it.
True. And
this is now a lawsuit, which Tiffany Haddish is now a bigger name, so it's going to catch the attention of the mainstream media.
And I do want to point out that I'm not trying to blame the mom or anything. I guess where I was getting at was I feel like Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears just could have made just a very, very poor decision in doing this skit, and a poor decision in casting kids.
But it's not just this one skit. Like I said, there's a bunch of allegations. I don't want to go through them here.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll link to the article, but there's more. It's more than just this one skit.
Well, that's true, as it always is. But either way, it's not cool.
And the mother could be to blame too. I don't know. I'm just saying we don't know anything right now. So we don't want to completely say, oh, Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish are pedophiles. No. We don't want to say that the mother did anything, that she knew what was going on. We don't know.
These are all allegations.
Exactly. It's all allegations. So until there's something that comes out about this lawsuit, and how it's settled, what happens. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
So no judgments yet. We're just bringing you the information.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all we've got for you.
Okay.
Next weekend, D23, so I'm sure lots of fun stuff coming out of there. I know we've already seen little tidbits come in here and there.
So yeah, our new show, this show is going to come out right as it's starting. Yeah. But we'll keep you updated, we can do
we'll
some
probably do little news briefs and stuff to cover all of D23.
And and worst case scenario, we'll just do the next episode quicker than the next weekend, so... Thanks for watching, guys, this episode. Yep. And to make sure you see all of our D23 coverage, and Disney Plus Day is coming out, too. So there's some rumors of some announcements there as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell. And make sure you like this video. Yep. And so that way you don't miss anything. And I think I've taken up enough of your time now, so I'm going to shut up and go over here.
All right, and I'm going to go talk over here.